Hi, this is People, Places, Things, and in History. This is Carol Church Gardner coming with you with a brand new one. And today is Monday. I skipped Fridays because it was Good Friday. My husband was home and I couldn't think of nothing. I had like writer's block. So today I'm going to bring you famous dog actors. Alright, in 1929, this pooch had hit stardom. And his name was Pal the Wonder Dog, was his real name. I just watched a video on his trainer and him, and what is he? He's a pit bull. A pit bull, American pit bull terrier. Who am I talking about? The famous Little Rascals dog, Petey. This series ended up from 1929 when they first casted the little pup till he got in 1946. This was the last date and the beginning of Petey's career. Petey actually, they had to paint a circle around his eye. He never had the eye. They used makeup that they used on all the other actors and actresses. They used makeup on Petey to make the famous circle. And he was actually so well behaved that you could go online, you could watch the training tape with Petey and his trainer on there, making him do tricks and showing you how he does the tricks. Petey was actually a purebred. He had actual registered papers and he had multiple offsprings. The worst thing about this was, tragically, his trainer had people who actually poisoned Petey. So Petey actually had a son that took over the role as Petey. Instead of it being on the right eye, it ended up being on the left eye. That's why it had changed. This was actually Petey's descendant who portrayed his role. Later on, because he was poisoned, he actually got buried. And the trainer buried him, and here's his tombstone. And another thing, the owner, after he got all said and done with the Little Rascals, he ended up moving out to Atlantic City. World War I hero, Rin Tin Tin. His real name was Ritty. Okay, so Ritty was actually Rin Tin Tin. The trainer had seen him and he took him in, and he was a well-skilled dog. He could do as many tricks as he could. His series lasted from 1918 through 1932, when actually the real Rin Tin Tin died. This actor played very many movies. The actual date was in 1932 when this one had deceased, but he was really actually in World War I. If you look up his Wikipedia, it does say he's actually a veteran. His soldier name was Lee Duncan. This was actually Rin Tin Tin's battlefield name. They actually rescued him off the battlefield. To keep the line going, Rin Tin Tin actually had a son. His son took over in 1947 until the 1950s did his son quit acting. His son wasn't as bright as the actual Rin Tin Tin. The one that they rescued off the battlefield, could actually do more tricks, but this one was actually not as good, but he was a little bit talented like his dad, so he passed through. The grandson that actually took over in 1988 through 1990s, they had another one, but it was a canine cop. This was actually his grandson, which actually really didn't do as good as the two before him, his father and his grandfather. But this one was actually like a canine cop series. Rin Tin Tin's actual guy who trained him was dead in 1960s. He died. His family took over the production line, actually inherited all the Rin Tin Tin lines. So this is how far the Rin Tin Tins go. So if you remember, in the beginning it was 1918. Now, his granddaughter owns him. His granddaughter brought back the original Rin Tin Tin look and whatever to see if production lines, each generation has been training just like the one who actually owned Rin Tin Tin. So, this is how the bloodline is getting pure. And In 1941, Rin Tin Tin Jr. had passed away. He passed away really early in life with pneumonia. So I couldn't find how his dad died. So if you want to Wikipedia him, you can find out more about this famous dog. The next one is Lassie. Who hasn't forgot about Lassie, the collie who got Timmy out of the well and all that? This is the next one is Lassie. Lassie first started actually in novels. The person who made up Lassie was a female dog who could get everybody and come home and whatever. These are the sad stories, ones I can't watch anymore. I would cry over them, but I grew up with them. And then they went to radio, and then she went to production at the last minute. Okay, so the actual one who plays this dog is a male dog. It's not a female, it's a male. Had the real pal died in 1942. Who's taken over the production lines is all his kids that he had. So Lassie is actually a boy named Pal. He lived to be in 1942 when he got the role. He passed away, and then his kids take over. So usually when you see one, it's usually his grandkids and all that taking lines like the rest of them. The real Pal died of actually natural causes. He got really old, he got blind, he got deaf, and he was 18 years old. This was how old Pal lived to be till he died. They buried Pal in a special place. So he actually got buried after he died. Most of these guys get buried because they're so well known. Bullet was another one from 1951 to 1957. He was a family dog on the ranch. He was on Roy Rogers' ranch. He was one of them that they put on film for him to act with the characters. He did some tricks, but he wasn't as highly trainable like Rin Tin Tin was, but he was. I could not find when this little actor had passed away, but he was actually stuffed and mounted and put in Roy Rogers Museum. Now he's owned by a private collector, and he went for $35,000. And who couldn't forget the annex of I Love Lucy bringing in a dog named Fred. Really, Fred was actually trained by a different guy that was owned by another guy. The real name of this character was actually in real life, his name was Danny. Okay, so this is all about this dog. Frank and actually owned this pup that was the terrier. His trainer was Bob Blairin. This is who trained actually little Ricky's dog. Danny was his real name, and I'm going to see if I can find more out on him. This terrier also went in on the Academy Awards. This is how important this little character that was supposed to be named after Fred Mertz on the show, the landlord, wouldn't let pets in, so they called him Fred so they would let him in. So this is how important this little character is in real life. He actually went to the Academy Awards with all the cast to accept the reward with the rest of the crew. This is how important this little tyke was. While on Lucy and after Lucy, this little guy was in a lot of films. So he was an important cast member, and he was also on movies. I can't find when this little guy dies. When I put Fred, it goes to the actual actor that played Fred Mertz. So, I'm sorry, I can't report when he died. There has been many dogs that has also played in movies, shows, TV, whatever. But these were the top ones of their day that if you had to ask anybody, they would name right off the top of their lips. Another one would be Dennis Menace the dog and Orphan Annie. But I don't have time to make this video any longer because if I put another actor dog on there, it's going to go too long. So I'm sorry, guys. This is it. Maybe I'll do another one if you give a thumbs up. Make sure you share this. Make sure you give me a subscribe so I know I'm doing good, so I know which ones you like. Make sure you subscribe anymore, and make sure you like write some comments, because I do get the comments back, guys. So this is People, Places, Things, and in History. This is Carol Church Gardner saying see yous. So have a nice day. Thank you.